AWULA War, the conflicts between the Ashantis and the Ga. The Ga people are descended from immigrants who came down the Niger River and across the Volta during the 17th century. The Ga people were organized into 6 independent towns: Accra, Osu, La, Teshi, Nungwa, and Tema. Each town had a stool which served as the central object of Ga ritual and war magic. Ga is the name applied to a particular ethnic group of people living along the shoreline of the Gulf of Guinea. In 1972, the Ga community was a shining example of unity, with its talented and passionate people coming together to create a vibrant culture. The Ga people were known for their delicious food, busy markets, and colourful religious ceremonies that brought them all together. It was a time of joy, celebration, and unity. At the heart of this community was their strong faith in each other. The Ga people's faith in their community was a powerful force that united them and gave them a sense of belonging. They appreciated each other's talents and worked together to create a thriving society. Wolomo, traditional priest, is the spiritual authority for the Ga people. The Ga people enjoy the fresh sea breeze, which is both pleasant, and they felt connected to their environment. The community isn't just surrounded by nature, but it's also home to these beautiful creatures. Birds are symbols of freedom and beauty, and their presence reminds them of the beauty that nature has to offer. They add another layer of harmony to this community, a harmony that's not only audible but also visible in every aspect of their daily lives. Under the rising sun's gentle embrace, Aryee approached his brother's door and called out,
"Aja, oyeje."
Aja replied,
Inyemi Aryee, yebi.
Aryee confirmed before proposing,
Bawa ya wowe.
While they were fishing, a strange object appeared on the float, promoting them to exchange confused glances as a ship approached. They couldn't help but wonder, who could they be? The community had just begun rebuilding after the initial attack. This would have been a critical time for them, with rebuilding infrastructure, mental health, and social cohesion. The arrival of these newcomers with hostile intentions undoubtedly threw the community into further turmoil. In this situation, the community likely had 2 options: prepare for a fierce battle against both the existing Ashantis and the newcomers, or band together to face the common threat, as well as their understanding of the attacking forces. Either way, the outcome of this conflict would have been devastating for the Ga community. As they once again found themselves on the front lines of a foreign invasion, it's clear that the events of a few years down the line would have been a difficult time for the Ga people. So they waited without taking any further steps and continued to wait. Nothing was happening, and they said, but this is not Warhorn, so what could it be? Then they decided to go and call the Wula Ache, the chief fisherman, to come and interpret what they were seeing. The Wula Ache said he couldn't see anything. Then his helper asked him to go upwards. He looked. but he couldn't make signs of it. And so they resolved to consult AWULA WAR to bring spiritual insight into what was happening. Finally, the foreign ship approached them and they asked,
Tabon,
as is consistent with the culture of the Ga people, Manche Ankara, the late king of Ga people, he welcomed the guests and he asked them news of their journey and the purpose of their visits, and this is what they said. In a flashback to their arrival in the Ga community, they recalled the journey that led them to Brazil as the ship finally reached its destination. They felt a surge of determination against oppression. Led by Rosa, they bravely resisted, sparking a widespread slave revolt. On the plantations, the slave owners soon realized the danger of living amongst the restless slaves. Seeing the impact of ongoing revolts, slave owners chose to set all the slaves free. Some worked hard and saved up to buy their freedom, demonstrating their resilience and determination. A ship accessible was put on the ocean so that they would journey across the sea to whatever destinations they faced and desired. They were taken from different places across Africa and they could no longer train. They hailed from various comers of Africa, their diverse origins blending into a tapestry of lost heritage. Arriving from the Gulf of Guinea coast, they converged in Ghana. Some disappeared to Nigeria, Togo and Benin, while others found their way back to their Ghanaian roots. This was the tale they shared with King Ankara. Ship arriving from the coastal area, but not only those directly from Brazil returned to joining the Afro-Brazilian in the Ga community, but also individuals who returned from Nigeria. They brought with them a distinctive dance and music genre called Agbe, which became a defining characteristic of the Afro-Brazilians. However, upon their return, they only retained the Portuguese language and culture. The language barrier made communication challenging as they could no longer understand each other's native languages. Because they are Tabon people, Tabon was their response to every spoken word. The community began to plead for help as they heard the sound of war drums and the war horn. The Ashantis had returned, intending to attack the Ga people once again. They thought they would have the same advantage they had the last time, but the Ga people were prepared this time. With shifting societal dynamics and advancements in sea travel, the returning Afro-Brazilians brought a wealth of experience. Their expertise in various areas, including warfare tactics, was instrumental in supporting the Ga people's fight against the Ashantis. Furthermore, their spiritual powers allowed them to communicate with birds, granting them a distinct advantage in understanding their surroundings. As the war drums and the war horn sounded, using their special connection with birds, the Afro-Brazilians deployed them to scout the terrain and provide vital updates on the enemy's movements. With this intelligence, they executed targeted attacks on the Ashantis' hideouts. As the Ga people joined forces, they advanced towards the Ashantis' locations, ready to engage in battle. The battle was intense and brutal, with both sides suffering greatly, but in the end, the Ga people won. The community rejoiced, knowing that they had done all they could to protect themselves. They had stood strong and united. And this victory would serve a reminder that they would always be able to overcome any threat, no matter how great it may be. The Ashanti, seeing the strength and resilience of the Ga people, had to retreat, realizing that they would have to face the consequences of their attacks again. The community had won, and their future was now secure once more. The Ashantis were defeated. It was a sunny day in the land of rising sun when Manche Ankara, the king, stood up and faced towards the sky in the heart of their village. Manche Ankara, the king, invited the Afro-Brazilians to his place and embraced the Afro-Brazilians for their bravery alliance against the Ashantis. He signed land arrangements with them and also allowed them to institute their own chieftaincy and leadership arrangements in Ga Mashi, the Ga community. They realized that the beauty of the Ga people was not just in their physical appearance, but in the harmony they had found within themselves and each other. As they strive to create a better world, the Ga people and the Afro-Brazilians exchanged the sacred handfolds, symbolizing peace and unity. With a solemn pledge, they vowed to live in harmony with one another. The unity displayed by the Ga people and the Afro-Brazilians in their shared victory is a beacon of hope for a more inclusive and harmonious future.